Ms. Green, will you call roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Place 1, Shauna Stoddard. Place 2, Chair Shelley Clower.
Present.
Place 3, Tanisha Marbles.
Present.
Place 4, Vice Chair Robert McCurdy. Place 5, Thomas Bosquez.
Present.
Place 6, Stacy Robar.
Present.
Place 7, Kevin Unger.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Mr. Hollow, will you please give the invitation?
Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening. We just thank you for another opportunity to gather together. We thank you for another opportunity to take the city and plan its future in a way that glorifies you and pleases you because you've given this to all of us. We thank you for the P&Z. It's unpaid. It's many times it's a difficult position. Not really thanked for what they do, but they do a lot of the legwork for the council. Hopefully we can do a better job of conveying that to them and our appreciation. We just ask you to bless them tonight. Thank you for your son. In your son's his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. I know, but that's what she thinks.
Ms. Green, do we have any people for public comment?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Okay. Under the consent agenda, we'll consider approval of the minutes for the meeting of the P&Z on March the 28th. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. McCurdy. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Marvels. All in favor? Everyone's in favor, 0 against. Okay, we have item 4.1, public hearing. Conduct a public hearing regarding amending the City of Venus Comprehensive Plan C2 General Commercial District to Heavy Industrial District 124.1805 acres out of the Radford Berry Survey, Abstract 26, Johnson County, and Abstract 42, Ellis County, 1115 East County Road 109, Venus, Texas 76084.
Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commissioners and members of the city that are in attendance this evening. Thank you for being here. As mentioned before by the Planning and Zoning Chair, the 1115 East County Road 109 property, it's located on the north side of County Road 109 and south of East Highway 67. This is a comprehensive land use amendment. So that means that we're changing what was approved almost a couple years ago, or a year and a half, for what was approved, which was for this area commercial. The trend for this property has been what they've been asking to do is more like industrial uses. This is what you see in the comprehensive plan as commercial. So what we're trying to do basically is amending the comprehensive land use plan from commercial to industrial. That has been the request in the past by the people that are interested in purchasing this property, and the landowner intends to do that. And but in order to do that, we need to first make that amendment to change it from C2 or like general commercial to industrial. Some of the constraints that this property has, or they have expressed, is the railroad track that runs here along US Highway 67, which makes it a little bit difficult to access from the highway to here. Then we have already the concrete batch plan that is right here, the Chisholm Trails that is here. And so that's why it's been more like search for industrial uses. And this will be like I-2, heavy industrial district. In the past, some of the planning and zoning commissioners and I myself were talking about, like, we have some people interested in a data center, but that didn't go through and fail the deal, and between the property owner and the purchaser of the land. But the owner wants to, in the future, probably make it like industrial, which is the trend, because that's what we have along County Road 109 and the rest of that. So that's why it's becoming a trend, and then that's why we will try to amend it. That's the reason that the analysis is like planning staff considers the current comprehensive land use for the plan doesn't align with commercial uses due to the railroad track. So there are staff recommendation, and also with a request of the owner, he wants to try to make this like industrial, heavy industrial. And what we're trying to do is amend, again, the comprehensive land use to make that change in the map from commercial to industrial use. I don't know if you have any questions for this amendment.
Anyone have any questions for Oscar? Evan?
Isn't this the land that we had zoned in our last meeting changed to light industrial?
No, well, we have it like, we did a rezoning or a public hearing, but we couldn't like bring it all the way for a vote. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended the approval for that.
But that's the same land though, right?
Yeah, same land.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But that council didn't vote on it because there was like a little hiccup, which
Right.
was like, we needed to amend the comprehensive land use plan, and that was like the Wood City attorney that we have like caught that and made that observation. So that's why we are bringing it here tonight. To
That road, County Road 109, it's all been in discussion in public's eye how bad it is. And my problem with this is you're wanting to put the heavy industrial is going to bring heavier equipment on that road, and that road's already messed up as is. Is there any? I know when there's a long-term fix like in 2025, the county's doing something on their end, but do we have anything in plans on our end to help
Yes.
fix that road?
We have an intergovernmental agreement signed with precinct number 4 with Commissioner Kai Butler in Ellis County,
Right.
where the city will pay its pro rata share because the county commissioner and the Ellis County, they have the equipment and the materials and the men and the personnel to do it, and they will just give us the bill and we will pay for that. But you're right on everything that you're saying, because the two concrete plants that are right
Road's
there,
messed up.
it's not going to last. That road is not going to last.
It's not.
What we need to do is probably, and this is, my personal opinion, nobody's telling me, is try to make a conversation or a negotiation with the two concrete plant there that are the batch plants, and try to make a deal to concrete that road, because it's going to last more.
It will.
And that's the only solution I see, because the trend is industrial, and I don't think it's going to change.
I mean, I'm okay with light industrial, but when you're looking at heavy, that's a whole different ballgame, and it changes things. So really, until I see a plan on something with 109, I'm having a hard time going forward with this and changing it for that, because that it's messed up, and it's not going to get any better.
The other factor that is here is the famous Venus Parkway, which has been on hold for a while because there's this property owner, that property owner, this property owner, and then we don't want to just dead end it here. We're trying to bring it down south, or at least have a future plan for that. But these property owners, they don't agree on where the road is going to be, and we're still in negotiations with them. But that will be a very, very helpful road to try to relieve some of the traffic, because especially like, South Main Street, aka South FM 157 they already almost complete all the right-of-way acquisition, and I don't know when, but I'm sure like sooner than later they're going to start work on Main Street, and then we're going to be in trouble with traffic.
In that Venus Parkway, isn't there also like some residential that's planned on that road cutting through? Like one side of it's supposed to have residential possibly, or zone for that?
Well,
or was that talked about?
this property right here, the owners or the land developers want to have mixed use. They want to have retail and
Okay.
some multifamily. The last thing I heard from this property owner, he wants to do manufactured home park subdivision, and this property owner will be doing industrial. That's what he has, expressed. And then there's another factor here, like Fifth Street then ends where the cemetery is. So a good idea would be to connect it to Venus Parkway, but that's also like, it requires investment and more money. So we need to figure it out, how we're gonna come up with the money for all those improvements as a city. Yeah.
The land over on the north side, this is the one we're talking about, it's gonna end up being heavy industrial.
This one, yes.
This Venus Parkway, this ghost, that's been existing for 2 or 3 years, and we ain't never turned to live with dirt yet. That's our road, right?
Well, the city has,
Potential road.
yes,
Then how can they tell us where we gotta put our road?
because there's a factor there, like we have a bond for that to build the road, but we cannot just go and, we can do eminent domain, but that's not the best way to go. We need to make an agreement with them so that they can dedicate it right away or sell it at market value, because otherwise, it will be an outcry, like, why are you like taking our land? I mean, that's the bad publicity for the city.
Well, but Venus Parkway has to go out to where that railroad crossing is. It can't go anywhere else. Because the railroad ain't gonna let you.
Yes, that was,
I know what I'm sounding like, but we done dealt through this along. It's got to go out where that railroad crossing is, and they'll improve it and make it whatever water on. But that's basically where Venus Parkway is gonna be, isn't it?
correct, you're right. It will be, the best will be to keep the existing crossing over here, but if the property owners don't agree, it can be moved and close this one down and move it like east or somewhere, but it will be only one access permitted by the BNSF Railroad and TxDOT. There will not be two granted because there are requirements of spacing, and then two cannot be together in close proximity. It's only one.
Well, with this change in the zoning of that land and whatever's gonna go in on it later, will that not influence Venus Parkway's progression?
Not necessarily, like equal influence, like, because one factor is here that this property is not in the city limits. It's not annexed to the city limits. One of the previous mistakes that the city made was like spend the money to do the engineering plans 300 feet east when this property owner didn't want to dedicate or sell the right of way. And then the city was going to build Venus Parkway here in a land that wasn't part of the city limits, which is not right. I mean, for the city.
It's just like you brought up a little earlier. When this construction on Main Street starts, we're gonna be in, Venus Parkway needs to be up and running, because 157 is gonna be so messed up for so long. You've got to have access to get them people off that road and over here. So, because if not, I mean, we all know 157 is already backed up morning and evening with school traffic. Well, you cut that puppy down to one lane, one-way road, these people might as well drop out of school and go ahead and, because they'll never get down there.
Yeah,
See what I'm saying? I know I'm saying it raw terms, but it's the truth.
this is true, and that's what we are planning, and as you know, as a city staff, we need to plan, because the other two options in the city are B.B. Jones, but you know how County 109 is now. It's in very bad shape. And then the other one is County Road 213 and Hickory Street, which already backs, the traffic when, school people want to go, and I don't know.
I live on Hickory Street,
Yep.
and Hickory Street is a major thoroughfare now.
Yes.
Since they started doing whatever. And I mean, you would think I live on Main Street.
I agree. Yeah, I see the
Yeah,
traffic in the morning.
It's unreal, and that's the problem. whenever you mess up 157, when I say you, the state, people are going to look for other ways to go. And whatever that other way is the quickest is what they're going to do. So that this Venus Parkway and it being a 4-lane thing, that's going to be a relief. And then we're not going to have to sweat 157. But if we don't get that thing built, and I figured that commercializing the land would speed that up. But
Yeah, but the problem is that not many land developers are interested in developing that as commercial. Then, well, I don't want to get off topic, but we have a meeting yesterday with the North Texas Toll Authority, and they gave different 5 alignments. One that they have came down here through the Venus ISD property, and then will be in alignment with Venus Parkway. But they're looking at different, like also like east of B.B. Jones, and then 2 west of the of North F-157. So everything is very preliminary. So they're saying that they will have a final design by 2026. But I don't trust, I mean, it's TxDOT, so we don't know when that will be done. TxDOT and NTTA. Although it's a toll road, but I mean, it could take years because they will have to acquire the right of way from all the properties, and that will take time.
well, the last thing they gave us was 213, right?
Yes.
Talking about that. That was the last newest thing. So now you're saying they basically already changed their mind again?
They put 5 alignments, and 213 is not one of those.
Easiest thing to do is just bring it right down the middle of Patriot Estates.
Well, I mean, you cannot go through other residential. It would be like, what they're looking at is Venus ISD, but Venus ISD, Dr. Patrick Torres, I don't think he's very happy with that decision too, because the traffic, you know, they're traveling at high speed, and you have children there, so it's very dangerous for them. So
Okay.
there's so many factors and so many things that had to be taken into consideration. Yeah.
Anybody else have comments, questions for Oscar?
Oscar, Mr. McCurdy touched base, well, he touched a little bit on my question regarding the traffic patterns, but how will the increase in industrial activity impact the noise levels? How would the increase in the industrial activity impact noise level?
Noise level. Well, these are going to be like, without anticipating what the use could be, the property owner wanted to do a data center in the past. So data centers, I don't think that they are very noisy because they have few employees considered like versus a warehouse or a place that is like with heavy traffic all the time. Data centers are just servers, and they have to cool them down with towers, and it's really much to, you know, to save information, not to, you know, it's not high in and out there like egress and egress of, you know, goods and services or anything like that type. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So just to help out in a little of your question, several cities our size actually favor the data centers for several reasons. One, they're big buildings housing huge equipment that is millions of dollars, so you can, that's why I went to law school, because I don't do math, and I can add, subtract, multiply, and that's about it. So you can go grab a calculator and figure out how the taxes go on that. That's one thing. Typically, generally, normally, they're very nice buildings on the outside, and as Oscar alluded to, they have very few employees that run the whole building. So it's very low impact. It's not going to really hit your streets. It's not going to cause a lot of traffic. There's not going to really be any congestion. And also, too, to answer it, they very, very low level of noise. It's not really, typically, generally, normally, they're not something that's going to cause noise issues. So that's just, I've experienced that with a lot of other cities our size, and so I just thought, to answer your question, thought I may just share that if that helps.
Can I got something else?
Go ahead, Kevin.
You're talking about that being the light or the data center, but that's considered light industrial, isn't it? Well, we're trying to zone this for heavy, and that's where I have a problem. And I'm okay with light, but I have a problem with heavy industrial.
Oh, and I understand, and absolutely, congestion and whatever is the health, safety, and welfare, all of that can absolutely be considered ultimately in a comp plan, really, which is a zoning change, absolutely can. They were asking about the data centers, so that's why,
Okay,
that's why. I
gotcha,
was
gotcha.
responding.
Yeah, the data centers, that's considered light,
Just to make
my
sure.
understanding of it.
Yeah, I didn't make it up. They were there.
Gotcha.
Okay, I think we need to open the public hearing now at 6:21. If anyone in the audience has any questions, comments, now would be your time. Ms. Brezak?
Is anybody here representing this, heavy industrial, or is there anybody here in the audience that is here to give any information?
Oscar, is there anyone?
No,
Okay.
not for this item.
Do we know what the landowner has planned as far as heavy industrial?
Yes, so he wants to make the amendment in the comprehensive land use plan for in the future, have a data center or something similar. Mhm.
Okay, and it's heavy industrial instead of light?
Yes, the data centers can be in the light or in the heavy industrial. But again, this doesn't mean like if it's heavy industrial amended, it's gonna be like a slaughterhouse or like some dyeing like factory or anything like that, no.
But it can.
Yes, it can, but then it will have to come again. This is a comprehensive land use plan, it's not rezoning. So everything that is happening to this property is just have it like step 1 out of 3. After this, they will have to come and annex it, rezone it, and propose a site plan. All that we're doing now is just amended from, changing the color basically from commercial to industrial. In the future, like 2 years or 1 year, someone else comes and says, well, I want to have it like commercial, we will do the same. We amended from industrial to commercial because nothing was done.
Okay, is there anyone else that has anything to say? Oh, Mr. Holla? Yes,
Thank
sir?
you. So I wanted to add, in answer to your question, what I've had a few cities do with the data centers, because you're correct. If the comp plan is changed, now that doesn't mean the zoning is going to change, that's the next item, okay? So assuming the comp plan is changed and assuming the zoning change is granted, you're correct, Commissioner Unger, whatever is in the heavy industrial, they can do that. And you can't stop them unless you put some sort of qualification on it that we can't do tonight because we haven't noticed for it. Okay, what other cities that I've noticed have done, I've done this a couple of times over the last, 2 or 3 months, they've had areas zoned commercial, and they actually batted around the idea of using a SUP for data centers in commercial. They decided, because of the issues that I talked about in answering your issue about data centers, they decided to go ahead and change the areas to commercial and give and amend the zoning, their zoning ordinances to include data centers by right. So the commercial would also address some of what you're saying, and the heavy industrial uses would not be allowed, if that helps at all.
It kind of does, but that leads to another question. So you're saying that they changed it to where they included the data center as a commercial?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. They were, the last city I did it for, as a matter of fact, they're right about our size, give or take a bit, and that was the exact reason, because they're trying to get rid of heavy industrial in their city. So just if that helps out, because it's almost exactly what you're asking.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to close the public hearing at 6:25. Do you have a motion on 4.1?
Okay, I'll make a motion to deny amending the comprehensive plan from C2 General Commercial District to the I2 Heavy Industrial District for 1115 East County Road 109, Venus, Texas 76084.
You have a motion by Mr. Unger to deny. Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
We have a motion by Stacy. Any discussion? Four? Two, four, against? Three against.
Yeah, I saw 4.
Four against. Now do I have a motion to accept?
I make a motion to approve amending the comprehensive plan from C2 General Commercial District to I2 Heavy Industrial District for 1115 East CR 109, Venus, Texas.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. McCarty. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a second by Thomas. All in favor? Four in favor? Against? Two against. Motion passes. We'll move on to item 4.2. Conduct a public hearing amending the City of Venus Comprehensive Plan R1 Single Family Residential District to Heavy Industrial District, 216.971 acres out of the Radford-Berry Survey, Abstract 26 Johnson County and Abstract 42 Ellis County, Texas, 900 East County Road 109, Venus, Texas 76084.
This item is similar to the one we just discussed, but it's just the property south of County Road 109. Like, this is the one that we just discussed. The property is this one on the south of County Road 109. And our comprehensive land use plan has this as residential, a single family, and the request or the change is to amend it to be industrial. This side. So it's basically same concept but this time from residential R1 to I2 heavy industrial. For this one, like, again, the trend is to be like commercial and not in the, like, we change from commercial to industrial in the north, but it's going to be more industrial. So staff recommends amendment of the R1 single family district to the I2 industrial district because it's better suited for industrial uses. And for this property, we also have tonight another item to rezone it to industrial, to heavy industrial.
Questions? Discussion? Oscar, do we know what they want to use this land for?
Yes, this one is a data center.
This is different owners, right?
Different owner and different group of investors or land developers, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:30. Questions, anyone in the audience? Ms. Prazak?
Okay, it's R1, single family residential. And you want to change it to heavy industrial? Is the data center going to be heavy industrial? I thought they said, oh, no, we lied.
No,
Mr.
that,
Unger was saying, and so either it's heavy or it's light if you're having a data center.
no, the previous item was like amended as heavy industrial, I2.
I would think, I would think the heavy industrial tag would make it where other things also can go in there, other than just the data center, would be what my thought would be.
But a light industrial does cover more than a data center. It covers warehousing and stuff like that as well, not just a data center.
The heavy industrial also encompasses meatpacking facilities, heavy steel manufacturing, things like that as well.
Did we open the public hearing, right?
Yes, we
Okay.
did.
I believe, well, we have the applicant here, and if you want to hear his idea and plan.
Okay, yes, sir, come on up.
Okay.
How y'all doing? I want to introduce myself. I'm Nick Holbeck with Rob Reiner Companies. Happy to be developing your city here in the future. The original thought process when going in for heavy industrial, we've done this in different municipalities. All data center development has been under that heavy industrial bridge, because with data centers, you also have to build out substations and heavy electrical equipment. So it's kind of been the catch-all for that. Usually that light industrial classification package has been, warehouses for distribution, light manufacturing, things of that nature. So originally when we came in, we went for heavy industrial, knowing that would catch the data center lens and allow us to develop the data center and then the applicable electrical infrastructure that goes with it. Secondly, we also do have a notion that's going to be on mayor and council that specifically lists data center uses and the definition of data center in y'all's heavy industrial zoning packet, because it wasn't in there previously, so that whenever we're going to our client and developing this out, there's assurities that it's covered in that heavy industrial. So that was the original thought process and the reason why we've gone in for the heavy industrial zoning. And then I'll take questions from there.
Okay, I'm confused. I mean, we just said a while ago it's light industrial is what it is, and now we're kind of saying that it's data centers are heavy industrial? I mean, can we get a explanation from somebody that might know?
I mean, all we have to do is look in our zoning ordinance and see what's under Oscar. Is data center in heavy industrial in our zoning ordinance, or what's it under?
That's what last time when this all come up, when it was on the other side of the road, it was the whole data center and it was light industrial. So I thought that it's considered light industrial.
So I do have a comment for that. Whenever we went in, we read the different classifications. There was no reference specifically to data centers. That's something Oscar has worked on, and I think on that, for Charlie's Land, on that rezoning, it was going to put in the language to incorporate it into light industrial. I don't think that's been done yet. But the reason we went to heavy industrial, because it made reference to substations and electrical equipment that's crucial and needed for the data center development. And then we went back to Oscar and said, hey, there's language in here through heavy industrial that allows our permitted use, but can we make it a little more clarity for our client that it specifically states data center? Because right now, it's got vernacular that goes into the electrical equipment and some of the height requirements that we need for these data centers. So that's why we've been pushing for the heavy industrial. I think light industrial is 40 foot clear, and then you guys recently amended heavy to 60, which allows for the build use and the product.
Well, we amended in both, in the light and in the heavy industrial.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that's sentiment
I mean,
clear.
I understand what you're saying, but if we change this to heavy, which we probably are, but if we do, and y'all don't move in with this Google, or with the data center, well, then something else, God knows what, can move in that's heavy. And that's, again, back to my problem that I have.
So if I'm understanding correctly, Oscar, this is just, we're having to go back, and this is step one. Step two will be
Step two,
rezoning to.
yes. We have later, after this third, we have a fourth item tonight for rezoning this property from agricultural to heavy industrial.
Right.
Then it is recommended to city council. Then city council will hear the items first in the order of annexation, then zoning, and then we also have an item for that city council meeting, text amendment and Appendix B to include a data center as a use permitted for this.
Okay. So right now, this is just a comprehensive plan we're having to fix.
That's correct. yes.
Okay.
And by the way, that's a good question and something we're going to have to discuss during the rezoning, because technically, they don't have, it depends on how you look at it. They don't have the benefit, if you will, of the data center definition. Because when they submitted their zoning application, now typically, generally, normally, developers on the other side of this, under Chapter 245 vested rights, they're railing about how they've got vested rights and the city can't do anything about it. So this is a little bit different, because they are stuck with the regulations as they existed at the time that they filed their permit. And permit is defined under 245.002 exceptionally broadly. There's a definition about that long with font that big in the statute, and it defines just about everything as a permit. So that's going to be a permit. So when we're doing the zoning, it might need to include that definition of data center. Now, what I would want to do too, protect the P&Z and the council, it's good that we have the applicant here stating, hey, we want a data center. We understand it's not in the ordinance, but we like the definition that Oscar came up with. They need to make that at the public hearing, because I know this will surprise you, but sometimes developers don't always tell the truth, and then they start around and sue cities. Well, they're going to have a difficult time suing the city because, oh, wait, we get the benefit of this, that, or whatnot, because there was no definition of data center, and you're trying to force one on us. Well, we can look back at the public hearing for the P&Z, and we can look back at the public hearing for the city council, where they both times spoke in favor of the definition for data center. So I'm very glad you asked that question. It's a very big deal. I want to give everybody a heads up, but it's not for this item. It will be at the zoning. So more to come.
Way more eloquently than me.
Any other questions? If not, we're going to close this public hearing at 6:38.
Let's come back up on the next one.
Do I have a motion on the floor? Mr. McCurdy, hold on. Callie's trying to get your attention.
I'm not a public type person.
He's got such a good voice that carries it.
I'm making this motion, but at the same time, I have a question. This R1 single-family residential, that's that housing development that went away, ain't it?
No. The housing development that you're talking it's called Stallion Ranch LGI, that is here. It's about 280 single-family homes in this one.
But it went away, right?
I cannot speak clearly, what's going on, but no, it hasn't gone away. That would be a further discussion, and it will take more time to explain because it's very convoluted, but
There are some legal issues, and the council has met in executive session, I think a couple of meetings ago, on the LGI situation. So, and I'm in contact with their attorney about some things. So it's certainly still an alive project, if you will.
Okay. Then heavy industrial district for 900 East CR 109, Venus, Texas.
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. McCurdy. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Thomas. All in favor? Is that 3? I can't see down there. 4 in favor? Against?
Oh, against.
2 against? Motion passes. Item 4.3, conduct a public hearing regarding amending the City of Venus Comprehensive Plan for a Manufactured Home Division District to R1 Single Family Residential District Lots 7 and 8, Block 10, Venus Land, an improvement addition in Johnson County, Texas, 701 South Main Street, Venus, Texas.
okay. So this item, many of you, and Planning Zoning Commissioner and the public in attendance may recall this item, 701 South Main. It was already brought to Planning Zoning and went to City Council, but Council couldn't take action or take the recommendation of the PNC because the comprehensive land use plan has it as manufactured home. So in the request from the property owner, he wanted to do from R1 to R2. So when the comprehensive plan was done, it has mistakes. And now what we're trying to do is to correct this, take it step by step. First step is to correct this comprehensive plan to reflect what it should be, which is R1. I know now there's a manufactured home there, so when whoever made this plan, comprehensive land use plan, only saw a manufactured home there, and they decided, well, that's manufactured home, and that should be the zoning, but it's not the zoning because you have single-family residences all along in the block and in here. So that's called spot zoning. So again, so we're just trying to change this to reflect the real zoning, which will be R1. Then, because we already discussed the item here, and you made recommendation from, if it's R1 or MHS to R2, then council will hear the item and they will, take action on this. But at this point, we're just trying to do the comprehensive land use to try to correct that mistake to reflect what should be like R1. So I will try to explain that here. Like staff recommends approval of the amendment from MHS Manufactured Home Subdivision District to R1 Single Family Residential District because the current comprehensive plan is inaccurate. So again, we're trying to change it to reflect what should be R1.
Questions, anyone?
How will that affect the owner?
Well, the owner purchased the property, and what he wants to do is duplex. He wants to do he wants to build to rent, and that's. I mean, either way, we're not imposing or making him causing a strain or like a hardship on him. Is either we're not. What I'm trying to say is we are not stopping him from doing something with the property, right? So he still can do R1, a single family home, or he can do a duplex. So, and then maybe the attorney can explain better, but I think that's, I don't know the term, it's not eminent domain, but it's not we're not trying to get in the way for him to try to stop him from doing something with the land. I forgot the term for that. Okay.
But on this one, we're wanting to change it from the manufacturer to the single home, not, single home doesn't cover duplex, so you'll have to go back to another meeting and get that changed again, correct?
Yes, so we will have to go to city council, yeah. Yes.
couple of meetings ago or one meeting ago, we handled this. My thing back then was, by doing this, what you're wanting to do, we get a dilapidated, double-wide mobile home that's uninhabitable, that's right there on the main street of downtown Venus, and we get rid of it without any hard feelings. Because this thing can't be lived in. We've been down here 6 years, and it's been sitting there for 6 years. Nobody ever walks around it. I don't think nobody even mows it. So this would end up being a way to do away with that problem. Plus, when it's all over with, we'll end up getting a brand-new either single-person house or a
Yes.
duplex house.
That's correct, yes. So
Yeah.
we need to make this amendment to the comprehensive land use plan in order for the property owner to either do a single-family home or a duplex. But
Right.
without making this amendment, we're stuck in limbo without any action.
Right.
Oscar, has there been any feedback from property owners or residents in the area?
Yes, there has been. I received a protest from, well, we had to send a notification 200 feet in a buffer area, and I received like a number, like 6 or 7, I have it, like people opposing because they have expressed concerns of traffic and parking and, yeah, and changing the zoning and the value of their homes because it's just considered spot zoning, like R2, and then you have R1, R1, R1 surrounded. Yeah. That's been a comment.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to open the public hearing at 6:47. Ms. Razak.
So this can either be single family or duplex, or does it have to, you want it duplex, then it has to go back to change it to a duplex? But it says right now, single family.
Yes, correct. So what we're doing again is just the comprehensive land use plan amendment to correct it because it is reflected as manufactured home. And there's a manufactured home there, but that's a mistake because the real zoning should be R1. So what we're just doing is changing this to single-family home, then council will have to take action or decide because council didn't take action on the request of the property owner from R1 to R2 for the duplex.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing at 6:48. Do I have a motion on this item?
I make a motion to approve amending the City of Venus Comprehensive Plan from MHS to R1 for lots 7 and 8, Block 10.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Robar. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a second by Ms. Marvels. All in favor? Can't see down there. How many is it? Okay, all in favor? Against? Said all in favor? Okay, all in favor? No against? Okay. We'll move on to item 4.4. Conduct a public hearing regarding rezoning from agriculture district to heavy industrial district. 216.971 acres out of the Radford Berry Survey, abstract 26 Johnson County, and abstract 42 Ellis County, 900 East County Road 109, Venus, Texas 76084.
This item, we just did the amendment to the comprehensive land use plan. Now it's for rezoning. There's a property here, 900 East County Road 109, South of County Road 109. As you can see, there's no zoning now, but we have planned development on the west side. We have heavy industrial here. We have agricultural land. We have here ag land and the cemetery and more ag land and residential here on Meadow Ridge Phase 3 and Phase 2. So it's for this property. It's not within the city limits. Again, like we're just doing the rezoning, the annexation and the confirmation or approval of the zoning will be done at city council in a later meeting. So the requested zoning is I2, heavy industrial district, which is, this is what they're proposing, 4 buildings with the electric substation right here. And then here on the west side, we're working with the developer to try to bring down Venus Parkway or the road here. So they're dedicating the right of way and building what they need so far, and then the city will do the other part to bring it down. Because in the future, it will be a good idea to, I mean, not just truncate the road, but if there's a way maybe in the future to bring it down south. But I mean, that will be like something that has to be planned. So the proposal that they're doing is like I said, heavy industrial, 4 buildings with 1.5 million approximately square feet, and then they will generate approximately 80 to 120 jobs. And these are the zoning that I mentioned before, adjacent. Currently, property is vacant. Now, if you approve that, which was already approved, it's I2, the comprehensive land use plan. And then there's a 60-foot right-of-way for County Road 109. There's 2 lanes, no shoulders. Speed limit is 35 miles per hour. The development trends are industrial. So again, the property is under annexation process as well for city council. And then the requested zoning does conform with the heavy industrial use in the comprehensive land use plan. And so planning department is recommending approval of that because it aligns with the heavy industrial zoning for the data center.
Questions, comments by anyone? Okay. We'll open this public hearing at 6:53.
And the applicant is here too, if you want to ask him questions.
Step up if you guys have any questions on it or anything. Do you have a laser on that? So as Oscar mentioned, we would build this portion of the road to feed our development. You guys have made us aware of plans for Venus Parkway. So within this development, we would actually dedicate on our land. I know, Mr. McCurdy, you were discussing earlier, we would actually dedicate to y'all, so as it becomes in y'all's plan, it sounds like there's a bonded work, Oscar. You guys could put that in at your leisure when that budget comes up. You would still have to work with, obviously, this property owner up here. Another thing we have already done is work through the city analysis sewer with y'all. So there's sewer capacity on this site. So we are also working with y'all on a lift station to be designated with coordination for y'all to go somewhere in this area. Not only will that feed our development over time, we're working in the development agreement that we would actually give that back to you to help your other parcels of land tie into it for their sewer development once they get to that point. So I just bring up those 2 points is obviously we want this zoning to put this in, but we've already worked through some of the parameters to allow future development and then allow our site to be respectfully served with city services on your site as well.
Will there be any kind of wall or fence around the whole procedure?
Yes. When you have an industrial use, heavy or light, putting residential use, there should be a fence, a wall, masonry, or depending, but you have to separate the two uses from noise and from anything that can happen, yes. That's in our code, yes.
So I can go into the product type. So this is, Class A concrete tilt wall construction. So it'll be tall with a parapet that actually screens items on the roof as well. These generator yards usually have blanket curtain walls, just like in truck courts and industrial centers when you drive by, so you don't see down them. The substation will be built very similar to substations you guys have seen, specifically the Venus switch up to the northeast up there. Obviously, it will not be that big, but it'll be built to those standards and electrical codes. The same goes obviously with the buildings. There'll be full, renderings, architectural plans, landscape plans, et cetera, much like what Google is putting up just east of here.
We have standards on, I sat in on an Arlington City Council meeting a couple of years ago, and they were just tooth and nail arguing back and forth, because they had set up a wall so-and-so high, then somebody come back wanted it higher, and then somebody come back wanted it higher, so, we're gonna go with a certain height that's designated, right?
Yes. Currently, I believe you cannot do more than 8 feet per code, but 8 feet is pretty tall. Mm-hmm.
And then, to emphasize that, these are essentially boxes. So all the servers, the electrical equipment is actually inside the building. And then, again, this generator yard, as I alluded to, they usually have those screen walls that skirt out, just like very similar to truck courts or distribution centers you guys are probably privy to seeing too. That screens that side view. So if you're going down that road, it screens it. Any more questions? Happy to go over anything.
Is this primarily in Ellis County or Johnson County?
So very good question. This line of demarcation right here, you've got Ellis County on this side, other way around. Johnson County on this side and Ellis County on this side, with the majority being in Ellis County. But all of this after annexation, from a tax revenue standpoint, will be in the city of Venus.
Anyone else?
Excuse you.
Anyone in the audience?
Hi, so my name is Logan Bennett. I'm with SYB Construction. We're the construction company moving our office and shop here off of FM 157. I'm sure y'all seen the construction in the building going vertical now. Looking forward to moving down here and being part of the city of Venus here. Our property, the back of our property conjoins with the bottom left of the proposed property. And if this moved forward and having the ability to have sewer, this could also snowball into us getting with you guys and maybe working that out, of providing sewer to our site and annexing our commercial property in as well. So more future revenue for you guys, and just wanted to throw that out there as well. And then also with the proposed, the map shown here with the proposed Venus Parkway here, we do have some bigger trucks in and out, and we would be willing to build an entrance and maybe work a deal with Venus to install a turn lane on proposed Venus Parkway to utilize that for our trucks in and out instead of FM 157 if that comes.
Any more questions? If not, we're going to close the public hearing at 7. Do we have a motion on the floor?
I make a motion to approve the zoning change from AG Agriculture District to one, two.
We have a motion by Mr. McCarty. Do we have
For 200 each, 109.
we have a motion by Mr. McCarty. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay. We have a second by Thomas. All in favor? Is that everybody? I can't see Kevin and Stacy down there. Okay. 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 And one against. During the meeting at 7:01 PM.